This video was made possible with the help of Game Toppers. Upgrade your gaming experience with a Game Topper.
Well, hello chaps and chappettes, and welcome to this before you buy, before you back video technically, for a game which is currently running on Kickstarter, which is called SMÄK, where you are fighting unicorns, so to speak. That's roughly the theme of the game. But yeah, as I said, this is a before you buy, before you back game video, because at the moment the game is running on Kickstarter, so you might be able to back it on Kickstarter. It might be in the late pledge stage, which means that you'll still be able to back it on Kickstarter and pledge late, and there's a link in the show notes below. Or you might be watching this video way in the future, and this game may be in your local store, which means that it's, you know, a before you buy video. There you go. So, before we talk anymore, what is SMÄK? Well, SMÄK is a card game, party style, family style card game, and where players are going to be dealt 7 cards, and on their turn they'll play 1, and they're trying to be the first player to get rid of their whole hand of cards before the other players. This will signal the end of the round, and then players will score points on the cards that they have in their hand. You play this 5 times, and then the player with the lowest score is the winner. Now, let's address the unicorn in the room. This game is based on, you know, whatever version you have played in the past. This is technically Uno. But stop showing off your Uno collection, Barry. So there's a little bit of bias here because I play Uno and I like Uno. But I'm going to try and push that aside and talk about SMÄK in a new light. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you some technical details about this game, and then I'm going to show you the differences and some of the rules and the cards and the wonderful artwork which come with this game before giving you my first impressions and thoughts about this game. First of all, little heads up, this and everything you see in this video is of a prototype copy of the game as marked on the back of this box. So this is not the final version of the game. This is not the final components. There may be some extra bits. I just wanted to show you what they gave me so you get an idea of roughly what you will get. So you got a book inside, which is the rule book, which explains the rules very nicely and cleanly. You also have lots of cards. There's 2 decks of about 50-60 odd cards there, and then you also have 6 dice, because this game goes up to 6 players, and each dice has 1 face which has a unicorn. And then you'll probably have this as well, which is a unicorn horn, which you will strap to the loser's head of each round to make them look silly. A quick overview of the cards. There are 3 types basically in the game. You have these unicorn cards, which have a base color. There's 4 different colors. You have the unicorn rainbow cards, which are unicorns with a rainbow colored background. And then you have these basic cards. Now, these basic cards replace your number cards. They number from 1 to 3, and as you can see, they come in the 4 different colors, and they have different icons, so clouds, stars, and hearts. So let's do a brief rules explanation. So a dealer will take the deck of cards and deal out 7 cards to each player. They will then take the top card from the deck and reveal it as if it's the card that they played. Then the player on their left would be in play to play one of their cards. So our next player decides to play a card which is the same color. So in this case, a blue 3-star card. The following player can play a card from their hand, and it needs to either be a blue card or a card which has the same number of icons and exactly the same icon. So in this case, I could play this pink 3-star on top of the blue 3-star. I could not play this yellow 3 hearts because nothing corresponds there. Now these are the basic cards. But then there are the ones that you will recognize from Uno, like the card which turns the direction around. So from going clockwise play to anti-clockwise play. Again, these come in the 4 different colors. So you can follow that up with another one. Then there are the Miss a Go cards, which have the X on them. And then of course we have our +2 cards, which basically means that the next player has to draw 2 cards from the deck. Or, unlike Uno, they can stack these and another one can be played on top. This means that the next player will have to pick up 4 cards. So that's the basic 3 cards which you'll recognize. But then you can, if you wish, play one of the special Rainbow Unicorn cards. This is a +3, which you are allowed to play on top of a +2, which would then take that total up to 7. So the next player would have to pick up 7. Another player could not then put another +2 on top due to the fact that this is not the same type of card. They would have to follow up with an identical +3 card, which would take it up to +10. So our following player may have to pick up 10 cards, unless they have the magic SMÄK card. This card can be played and it basically cancels out that player from picking up those 10 cards. Each player is also going to be having a dice at the beginning of the game. And if a SMÄK card is played to cancel an effect to a player, all the other players must immediately pick up their dice and start rolling. You roll until you have the unicorn side. And as I said, there's only one on the 6 sides of this unicorn. When that's rolled, you are out. The last player to not actually get the unicorn will actually be the player that picks up the 10 cards from this nasty trap. They then continue playing the game from this joker, which means that they can play any card that they wish immediately after. They could play this card, or they could play another fancy pick up 3 that they've just picked up. So I've explained these 2 unicorn rainbow cards, but there are another 7 unicorn rainbow cards that I need to explain. Let's scratch that out of the way. There is this one, which again is very similar to, well, it is identical to Uno. This allows the player to choose the next color that the next player must play. Simple. Then we have some wonderful ones like this one, which means that the player can then pick any card that they want from the discard pile and put it into their hand. We have this one, which will allow a player to choose another opponent at the table and swap their hand of cards with them. Very, very useful. We also have this one here, which will allow you to pass your cards to the player on your left or right, depending on which way the round is going around. So every player at the table will exchange their hand of cards. Then we have 2 special pickup card like this one here. This one, as you can see, there's 3 people in the corner, which means that this card, when you play it, every player at the table needs to pick up 2 cards. And then you have this one here, which is a pickup 3 with 1 person, which means that basically you choose a player and tell them to pick up 3 cards. And then finally, we have the upside down unicorn. We have this unicorn here, which will allow you to choose any of these powers, even a SMÄK, and you say, well, this card is that card. A few other rules are, if it's your turn and you cannot play, you draw the top card from the draw deck. If it's a card that you can play immediately, you can do, or you can save it for later. If you're playing and you're down to your last 2 cards and you play your second to last card, you don't shout Uno, but you make a unicorn sound. And another rule, which is very important, if you're playing, for example, in a 4-player game and you are player 4 and player 1's just played and they've played this wonderful blue 3-hearted card and you have one in your hand, you can play it immediately, meaning that player 2 and player 3 don't get a chance to play, and then it's player 1's turn again. So when one player has no more cards in their hand, that's the end of the round, and the other players will count up how many points they have from the cards in their hand. They will score 10 points for every normal card, they will score 20 points for every unicorn card, 30 points for every unicorn rainbow card, and 50 points for the SMÄK card. And the player of that round who has the least, well, scored the most amount of points gets the unicorn horn to wear for the next round. And then you'll play another round. You'll play for 5 rounds, and the player with the least amount of points at the end of that will be the loser. So, thoughts and feelings about SMÄK? Well, yeah, it's Uno, but with this added layer of complexity and chaos which comes with the game. There are a lot more cards to remember what their powers are, but you can pick them up pretty easily as you play. I mean, it takes a little bit of while, and then some players will play the wrong card at the wrong time, and then you will go back, especially in regards to that jumping in mechanism where you play the blue 3 heart card and someone will accidentally play a 2 yellow heart card just because it's got hearts on it. This takes a little bit of time to get used to, and again, this gives you something different to think about. You really do have to think and play on your reflexes, especially if you're going to cut in your turn before other players with a matching card. You really got to be awake and aware, which is a nice refreshing change for an Uno game. The fact that there are these SMÄK cards which will then produce this kind of dice combat, which means that whoever doesn't have the luck on their side of rolling the dice very well is going to get the brunt of maybe a multi-card pickup. It's quite fun and refreshing as well. Again, you have to be quick on your reflexes for like when a SMÄK card is played, it's like, oh, pick up your dice. When you're playing with kids, you have to kind of like simultaneously pick up your dice and say 3, 2, 1, go, because they're a bit slower at that. Talking about the SMÄK cards, don't work in a 2-player game. Played this game a few times with my son, and yeah, there's no point in doing a SMÄK. It's just a case of, well, you play the SMÄK card, I take the punishment. Simple as that. Playing with 4 players is fun. We had a good time playing. I only asked them to play the 5 rounds so we could score and play. Guess what? They wanted to play again, which is a good sign of a fun time. And there were a bit of argument as, you know, cards were played wrongly. You know, you can't play that card on top of that and whatever. But at the end of the day, we had fun and a laugh. And again, this little element, the unicorn horn, added a bit of fun. Whoever was wearing it was a bit peed off, especially the younger one. Yeah, putting this on and then doing stupid things with it, like rubbing their cards or poking their neighbor with it, became a bit of a joke and a bit of fun. Other things is the artwork is nice. The SMÄK cards come in 2 different versions. You've got these slightly adult themed ones which have blood and guts, and then the slightly childish ones which have pies and ice cubes. We played with both of them in. We didn't find them that offensive for the younger kids. They don't really look at them that much. It's just a case of playing the cards and playing the game and having fun. Again, this is a prototype copy. This is not the final version. I don't know what stretch goals are going to be in the Kickstarter, but we found with the 4-player game that our discard pile was getting a bit high and the gloss on these cards was making them slide all over the place. And so we kind of used our Uno tray to pop them in to stop them sliding about. Luckily we have this. And apart from that, fun was had. It was enjoyable. It was relatively quick playing. There was as I said, this little learning curve as it's like an extended, more grandiose version of Uno, and everyone had a good time and wanted to play again, and that's the main thing. It's getting a game to the table and having people play again. So there you go. There's some of my thoughts and feelings about SMÄK, which is, as I said, on Kickstarter right now, but you might be able to find it in stores or on a late place later. The link is in the show notes below. All that remains for me to do is say thank you for watching. I hope this video has pointed you in the direction if this is a game for you or not. If you like this video, give it a like. If you know someone that might appreciate this video and who might appreciate this game, share this video with them. And apart from that, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time, and remember to please play nicely with each other. It's only a game.
Just sitting at the table.
Peace out.